So one of my favorite things in the game, and I really don't want people to miss it, is just how detailed and exciting the world is. I find areas in the game constantly, even after playing for months and years, it's like, oh, this area, and this thing. My name is Rodrigo Cortes, and I'm the studio art director at Sharkmob. Very early on, we were imagining to find an execution, art direction that looked and felt realistic, but still had this sense. There is a lot of emotions. The whole art direction is a little bit like Hollywood realism. We picked an area in the US that hasn't been used in games much, and it's the US South, especially this very specific area around the Southeast, kind of like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, around that area. It really shows also the classical tropes of America. The small town, the school bus, the fire station, the city hall. Things that you see very often in movies and TV series. We did a lot of research in the game, so we actually went to the US South and several weeks capturing everything, taking photos, doing photogrammetry to try to make the most realistic recreation of a world. We did spend a lot of time trying to get a really realistic sense into the world, but still have an ownable look that isn't just pure realism, but actually has some sort of stylization. Also, the weather themselves are very, very strongly art directed, so you have a very different look depending on what's happening. Whenever the weather changes, you actually see the effects. You see in the tower, they start turning on, you see the lighting happening, you see all the panels opening up. There is a sonic boom that you hear, you see all the trees moving with this sonic boom, and then the weather starts changing. So each weather condition, forces of nature, really changes the experience. In the example of the tornado, when that happens, all of a sudden there is an updraft, so you can be picked up and use the parachute at any moment. So the locomotion and the way you move around the world is very different. We're trying to constantly mix the expected with the unexpected. And in one of our biggest maps, Maynard, you would see the classical things, you see the gas stations, you see the swamps, the marshes, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the map, there is this oil rig that was washed in with a tsunami. And you see the effects of that, so the oil spill around it. It's very strange and powerful the first time you see it, and you can go all the way up and there's a lot of gameplay there, and missions and extractions happening. We did a lot of branding, for example, in the world, restaurants, beer brands, lawyers, etc. And many people in the team are being represented in different brands. One of my favorite one is from our executive producer, Brinley Gibson. He likes to make hot sauce himself in his garden. So we gave him a brand of hot sauce called Big Boss Hot Sauce. You can see that it is Brinley, but in a stylized version. It's something that would realistically look like an actual hot sauce from the South. In the beginning of my career, I had two paths. It's do I want to go with the movie side or the games? And I'm a passionate gamer, so I always fell in love with the games. And this is something that's been really cool. Since I've been working with games for 25 years. I've been seeing everything from the original Xbox all the way to the latest stuff. Even though we're coming closer and closer visually to, for example, where cinema is, the interactive part is what makes it so much more interesting, for me at least. That it's not a beginning and an end that somebody wrote. It's your story. Whatever you feel you want to achieve, whatever you want to do, that's what you see. That it's not scripted before, the players make their own script, basically.